When I went to go watch Doctor Who and the Daleks with Rachel, I was very pleased with the overall film. Doctor Who and the Daleks and Dalek's Invasion of Earth were one of my favourite films watching when I was growing up. I would go around to my grandma and granddad's house and it would be the only film, mainly up there with Death to the Daleks and 101 Dalmatians. I always loved these stories due to their technicolor of the Dalek casings. The stories were basically condensed down from the TV series Doctor Who Dalek stories, such as The Daleks or The Dead Planet and Invasion of the Daleks. The two stories were really well known due to the popularity of the Daleks at the time, Dalek Mania, and at the time of this recording, the Daleks are still successful. This video is thanks to Rachel due to me wanting to go see the films, but due to not having any friends, I couldn't really go. Parents didn't want to go watch it, and well, I was kind of on my own. And as a person who doesn't like to do things on their own, mainly, I opted not to go. But it was thanks to Rachel, like I say. She asked if we wanted to go, and I said yes, absolutely. So shout out to her, because without her I probably wouldn't have seen these films and I would have missed the opportunity. The films were about an hour long and they were updated. The whole reason why they were brought back was because they were they were put in 4K. So they were a lot more, well, in HD of course. The colours had been completely made to be more vibrant than how they used to look. And, well, what did I think? Overall, I think the strongest out of the two is of course Doctor Who and the Daleks. The very first Dalek story that was condensed down. The casings are a lot more cleaner and sharper, a lot more vibrant, and overall I just prefer the slow monotone voices that they have in the first one and the second film. The first one stands out more because of the budget and the preparation, if I believe that's right. Of course, my favourite Dalek design is the red Dalek from the first film due to its colourful colour scheme. The red and black is more imposing than the silver and red Dalek from the second movie, and I overall just prefer that colour scheme. A Dalek I will eventually build, hopefully. Overall, with the stories now being in 4K, a few things did detract from what I originally remembered. E.g., I could see the strings on the spacecraft. A few Daleks in the background were able to be seen falling apart when the Fowls were breaking them apart due to the fighting, and certain things like dubbing was still a little off in places. But overall this doesn't detract from the actual film. I still enjoy them for what they are, and I do prefer them over the actual TV stories a lot more. As you can see, I'm not really much of a collector. This is the only Dalek that I own of the movie collection. That and the two smaller 5-inch scale ones, the red and the black Dalek, which I do own, but due to me not being allowed to own Daleks very much because I used to break them a lot as a kid, they're now upstairs on a shelf out of harm's way. The poster I got more or less from Etsy, and I think you can still buy it, and that's pretty much it on movie Dalek merch that I have. I don't really have anything else apart from the other Daleks stated upstairs. My stepdad, on the other hand, does have the little pullback Daleks, which are quite a lot of money. He also has this variant, but in the chrome style. Not the gold chrome, because that is very expensive and very rare to get hold of. Over the years we have had different Dapole Daleks that were reminiscent of the movie Daleks with the claws. But overall, I've never really been much of a Dalek collector. Even though I'm a big Dalek nerd, I just prefer to have big Daleks rather than little toy ones. This Dalek I had to get out of storage because, well, it was in a dusty room, as you can tell from this bedroom. So overall, what did I think to the two Dalek stories? Well, I thought they were quite fun to watch, alongside when I was with Rachel. Of course, I was giving a technical babble and just boring her to death. She was enjoying them because she loved seeing the Daleks, as I say in quotes, yeeting themselves off the side rails. So she kind of found fun in that. She also enjoyed the prop side of things, as she's now more or less enjoying that type of stuff that we do with the filming that's going on right now. So she could see as well all the tiny details in each Dalek prop. And of course I was going, this Dalek's this Dalek's that. And of course she was enjoying it, as she says, but I do feel like I was boring her with saying that type of stuff. But it was nice to have someone alongside me, especially someone who's not really into Dalek stuff, who knows all these ins and outs of Daleks. So it was quite nice to talk to someone who, well, is now just starting to have an interest in Daleks just as much as I am. The overall stories are quite fun, they are memorable. The cast is more energetic than the TV serial, but of course this is because of, you know, boundaries and things like that, and deadlines. With the TV series, most episodes were done live, so retakes were not as easy, whereas the movie, well, they had a bigger budget. The Dalek props look stunning in all their glory. To this day I still don't know why they have the bumps misaligned at the back. I think that's due to the fire extinguishers that they had inside. But apart from that, nothing else detracts from the casings. Thanks to watching the episode, the Flamethrower Dalek, sorry, I could notice every little detail thanks to Dalek 6388. After watching that episode, I was there pointing out everything to do with that Dalek and noticing where it was in the background. If I had to choose one of the stories over the other, I'd say the first Dalek movie is superior, to put it bluntly, than the second one. I don't really know the reason why, I just think it's more memorable, and is a more faithful story to the original Dalek story from '63. Whereas the second one is a bit more condensed, a lot more, and changed here and there. I know I'm not the only one who enjoyed this movie, as I know a lot of fans were really excited to see this, to be able to see the stories in their full potential as in 1965 and 1966. It was nice to see what it was like to be a Dalek fan way back in the 60s. We'd be able to see these Daleks on the big screen, also in colour, even though we more or less, people my age have seen Daleks in colour for years. But it was nice to see these Daleks having updates visually, and the dubbing in places was quite nice. Although there was a few parts that were a little off, I did notice, but it doesn't detract from the overall thing. As I'm now much older, I can see more details in the films, like I mentioned with the spacecraft. You can see the invisible wires, or I say invisible, but as I say, that doesn't detract still. And all the tiny details and the effort that went into these movies. The set design, now that I'm older, I now realise it's a set, it's not actually outdoors. Peter Cushing not actually being in certain shots, which made me chuckle a little, but of course that's for the stunt work, and it's quite noticeable once you notice it. The different Dalek props getting swapped out here and there, within different shoots, and yeah. Sorry about that. So yeah, overall, my view on the stories are quite high, because like I say, they were very memorable to me as a kid growing up with Dalek stories, and these were pretty much the only stories we had on VHS. Yes, I'm that old. We did grow up on VHS. But yes, they were still enjoyable. They were fun to watch. And overall, well, my scores, I guess, if I can even do that, as I'm not really a film channel or anything, I'm just a builder. I'd say the first movie is a 8 Daleks out of 10, I guess. And for the second one, probably a 5 Daleks out of 10, if I'm being nice. So yeah, I will have more updates soon. I know this video hasn't been the longest that I would like to be, as I'm just not very prepared at the minute, but I have made an effort to make the room look a little decent, and I even put up a shelf in the last moments, and like I say, I got the Dalek out, put the poster up. But eventually this bedroom, and I'll show from pictures, this bedroom is going to be changed up a little. We are going to have, in the corner of the room up here, we are going to have studio lighting. So that'll be sorted. This shelf will then be properly moved to the side, and we'll have a green canvas to put things on the side. And overall, yeah. No, it was been short, but I hope you've enjoyed it nonetheless, because I've got a lot of editing to do for this video. What do I say? Fucking hell. Into an hour's condensed down into more of an hour. And the voices are not as grating as the second one. Is that correct? No, that's not correct. As a second film, what is the second film? That is a good question.